Hi. Let's look at assessment criteria 5.1 in chapter 5, exploring the key elements required for coordinating and managing marketing plans. So you will be doing a marketing plan, a comprehensive 10-page marketing plan. When you come to level 6, there's an entire subject dedicated, and you will be undertaking a marketing audit and a marketing plan. And the entire subject is dedicated to learn marketing planning. So we are just only learning a few theories here, but you will apply these theories when you come to level 6, which is the next level. So let us investigate some of the theories here. We will be looking at what resources are and the types of resources. In Sinhalese, we call these sampat, resources, and how you manage these resources. Then we'll be looking at how you would choose as a marketing manager, your decision to choose internal and external agencies. If it's advertising, can you do it in-house or can you work with an external advertising agency? If it's a research company, can you do it in-house by yourself or can you commission an external research agency? So the decision to outsource versus doing the activity in the marketing department inside the organization. Then you will also critically make a decision as to who you will work with as suppliers. There are so many suppliers that you'll need to involve, from outdoor suppliers to advertising, BTL, magazine, so many kinds of print material, so many kinds of suppliers that you'll need to work with. And next, we'll be looking at how you will undertake a budget, basics of budgeting, and what is a budget, and how do you evaluate the performance of a marketing plan. Then finally, we'll be understanding what working with cross-functional teams are and defining outsourcing to complete this chapter. So it is a short chapter. Let's look at the theory areas in chapter 5.1. So the first step you need to ask as a marketing manager implementing the marketing plan is how you manage your resources. I told you in Sinhalese, we call this sampat, resources. So what are resources? Now, resources, there are four types of resources. We learned this before as well. Human resources are the people, their skills, competencies. Financial resources of the organization means what? That is your cash flow, your retained earnings, the money that you have in the bank. If you own the shares yourself as an organization versus public quoted, then that will also come in as a resource. So the cash you own, how cash rich you are, the cash flow, sales, all that amounts to the financial resources. The capital that the shareholders has invested in the business. Then you have physical resources. The word physical means tangible. So land, machinery, equipment, other things like buildings, physical, cars, any vehicles, all those will be physical resources. And then you have general organization resources, which are intangible resources. The resources you have that you can't touch, intangible. If you have land, building, equipment, that's tangible. Reputation is intangible, but that can be a resource. If you look at Sri Lankan companies like John Keel's, Unilever is not a Sri Lankan company, but truly Sri Lankan companies like John Keel's, like Haley's, MAS, they have a lot of reputation, corporate reputation. If you have any patents, copyrights, your brands are all intangible resources, right? Those take years to build. Licenses, any special contracts, relationships with customers, with suppliers, all those are intangible resources. So these are the 4 types of resources, guys, that a company would have. And what is a resource? A resource is the sum total or the portfolio of all the tangible and intangible assets owned or managed by the organization, right? The sum total of all the assets, tangible or intangible, the portfolio of assets owned or managed by the organization. And managing these resources as a marketing manager is very critical. Because as a marketing manager, you have a marketing team, human resources. You have financial resources, which is the budget. Marketing manager has a huge responsibility with its budget because it's an expense budget. After you spend it, you are supposed to generate sales. If you just spend it and don't be accountable, or if you're not accountable or don't generate sufficient sales, then you will get fired. So you are supposed to use that money, the marketing budget, to generate sales. So how do you manage these financial resources? How do you manage this human capital, the human resources? How do you manage the physical resources and the intangible resources? So how do you find the optimum resource mix? That is to manage the marketing department's resources. So resource management is the efficient and effective development of the organization's resources. And you have the types of resources there. Okay. And one of the critical things, guys, that a marketing manager needs to decide on is it much more cheaper and efficient, productive for us to work with outsourced external suppliers? Or is it cheaper for us to do certain things in the marketing department inside the organization? Now, some companies use advertising agencies. Some companies have graphic designers in-house. They only keep the large TV commercials, large radio commercials, all those things to go outside. But they do all the small artwork, the post booths, the little brochures, all those things, small ads are done in-house. So this is a critical decision. What is cheaper and what is better? So marketing department can have so many things that you can outsource. And there are so many benefits of outsourcing. It will reduce your cost. You have access to great expertise. You get the outsider's perspective, professional's perspective, access to talent. And then there are in-house benefits as well. So example is advertising. Should we outsource it or should we keep it inside? Market research. Should we outsource it or should we do it inside? Then R&D. Should we outsource it or should we do it inside? And there can be so many other things. There can be so many other things, including things like printing, right? Advertising. Then the marketing department will also have, various other things, like if you're doing promotions, can you outsource promotions? Can you outsource sales? Can you outsource new product development or do it in-house? So there are so many advantages of trying to do it in-house as well, right? One is sometimes you can manage it at a lower cost. Example, if you take a graphic designer in-house versus outsourcing, sometimes can be cheaper. This depends on the volume of business you're doing and how fast you want it done. That's why faster production. You can work closely with the management, right? And better messaging. But here you have access to top talent as well in the industry. So there are various advantages and disadvantages of outsourcing versus doing things inside. In Sri Lanka, usually we are scared to outsource. We only outsource things like security services, cleaning services. We are scared to outsource other things. But you're doing a British exam, remember, in the West, they outsource even marketing. They outsource new product development, outsource R&D. Some companies even outsource their finance. So you can be bold and outsource if it is good in terms of the benefits that are acquired to the organization. And if you look through this, we talk about supply chains. So if you look at a supplier, the company can be an automobile company, right? Automobile company who sells to customers, right? But you would have third-party logistics companies, suppliers. Then you'll have suppliers who manufacture seat components, screws, bolts, right? Then you'll have textile mills that supply this supplier. Again, in turn supplies you. So you'll have suppliers supplying to your suppliers, and those suppliers connect to your organization. So when you look at a supply chain network, it's not only people who supply to you. You have to look at who their suppliers and who their suppliers, right? Because at the end of the day, your direct suppliers, as you can see here, are dependent on these. Those guys are dependent on these, and the list goes on. So when you are subcontracting or if you are supplying, you need to understand the network of suppliers, the supply chain network. And this is very critical because sometimes if one of these guys down the line are not in line with your brand's values, if they are conducting illegal operations or sweatshops, or if they are ruining the environment, if the news gets to know that one of your suppliers are ruining the environment, then if you are selling a product that is environmental friendly, then if the press gets hold of that, they will look at this link, suppliers, suppliers, supplier. So you need to look at the supply chain network because your reputation can be spoiled because of the connections or the network of suppliers. I hope it's clear, right? But there are many benefits of supply chain management. How you manage suppliers. You know, if you take companies like Cargill's, they're supply-driven industries. If you take a company like Uber, Uber has many, many customers. Pick me, many customers. Moment you turn the app on, there are so many customers, but very few drivers, very few riders on some days, rainy days, sometimes in the night, very few riders. So those are suppliers. So there are supply-driven industries. Imagine Cargill's, for you to go in the morning at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock to a Cargill's and to buy karapincha or to buy that some fresh items, vegetables. It has to come from far away. So managing those supply chain is very, very important so that the customer is benefited. So supply chain management has a lot of benefits. better supply collaboration, higher efficiency. If you manage your suppliers better, it will improve your productivity, reduce cost. So there are so many benefits of managing your supply network, right? And a company has to do it carefully and methodically. And in the marketing plan, guys, towards the latter stage of the marketing plan, you are called to evaluate the marketing plan. You are called to see whether your marketing plan is working well. And some of the ratios that we use here to evaluate the marketing plan, we call that a performance review, the performance review of the marketing plan. For you to check the customer satisfaction. Are customers happy? Yes or no? If you take 1,000 customers, how many are happy and how many are not happy? If you have more customers not happy and a lot of customers unhappy, that means your marketing plan is not working. Brand value. Brand value. Has it increased or has it reduced? Return on investment. Are you giving your shareholders better return on investment? Are you increasing your market share? So these are 4 ways in which you can evaluate the performance and undertake a performance review. Usually, guys, we do a monthly performance review of the marketing plan. And we do a deeper study of the marketing plan at the end of the quarter, to see whether the marketing plan is giving you better return on investment. Is it increasing your sales and your market share? Otherwise, you are spending money, but you are not returning profits to your shareholders, right? So you have to evaluate your marketing plan. And this word budgeting comes in there. How do you manage your marketing budget? You know, as a marketing manager, I used to manage about half a billion rupees when I was handling the credit card business at Nations Trust Bank, Amex. It was a huge budget, half a billion rupees, 500 million. And I was responsible for revenue of 10 billion. So how do you manage your budget? Because you can't just go and spend money if the revenue is not going up. So the marketing budget outlines a specific amount of money the company can spend on its marketing activities. It influences your marketing strategy. And you need to have this kind of understanding of your budget. As you can see here, right? These are the activities. These are the activities in your marketing budget. And this is the year. So you usually do a 3-year marketing plan. Then you do a quarter-on-quarter marketing plan. And then you will totally, for marketing research, here's how much you're going to spend. This is when you're going to spend it, as you can see. So it is a very clear breakdown of when you are going to do what. What is the schedule? What is the schedule? What are the totals that you spend for each area in the marketing department? Then you can total it this way. You can total it this way. And then you'll see the total, the sum total. So this is a schedule or an example of a marketing budget done by a student. I hope it's clear. I hope it's clear, right? And then finally, we finish this area by understanding a few ways of working. So outsourcing is something I spoke of before. Companies should outsource any non-value adding functions or any functions that you can get better productivity, better return on investment. You can outsource like advertising, like market research. And then companies should also find new ways of working. One example is cross-functional teams. A cross-functional team. A cross-functional team is when you have, let's say, a project. You're going to, let's say, launch a branch overseas. You're going to launch a branch overseas. So only the marketing department can't be responsible for that. You need one person from the finance department, one person from the marketing department, one person from the operations, one from IT. All must sit together. We call that a cross-functional team. That means from all the important functions in the organization, a few people will get together and create a team who will have a variety of expertise, who will come together to achieve a common goal, right? So that is called cross-functional working teams. So there are new methods of working in business. Outsourcing, cross-functional working, and there are so many other examples that you will investigate in 5.2 under chapter 5, right? So we conclude this area with that, and I will see you with assessment criteria 5.2.